I mean, the title says everything, guys. It's about people who cheat, and I've got receipts and I've got proof in axe throwing to get those wonderful world axe throwing titles, right? Right? I mean, that's what it's about to most. I brought receipts. I'm going to show you guys in this video how people are cheating in axe throwing, and I'm going to bring you everything that you need to know and see. It's not just speculation. If you guys don't know who this is, I'm putting up on your screen now. That is retired Navy SEAL Senior Chief Don Shipley. He is widely known for outing fakes, imposters, cheats, stolen valor people, all that good jazz. And I'd like to think that Don gave me the inspiration I needed to make this video here. It's about people cheating and how they do it. And I'm bringing you proof. And I'm bringing you proof on who's doing it as well. So you're going to want to stick through the whole entire video. Because they're doing it for money, they're doing it for fame, they're doing it for sponsors, and that coveted world axe throwing title, championship title, whatever it's called. Just watch the video. This whole thing centers around the world's longest axe throw put on by the Guinness Book of World Records. You guys probably already know that. I will say me and Dave were a little apprehensive about making this video to begin with because we know that it could bring a lot of heat to us.
I say bring it. A little heat never hurt anyone.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but we knew that it would come with some consequences. But I'm willing to take that risk because I think integrity and getting the truth out there is very important, okay? Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know I've been talking about going for the world record for the longest axe throw put on by Guinness Book of World Records, okay? Now, I reached out before I made this video and talked to a bunch of people and told them the whole story, some with, very small subscriber lists like me, and then some that had millions of subscribers. And they all had different things to say, but they all kind of came to the same conclusion, which was it's total bullshit and you need to call them out. And that's exactly what we're doing here. Now, if you know about the world's longest axe throw and the journey that I've been on by making that throw, you know that I started talking about it, I think earlier this year, maybe in late last year. I don't remember, guys. But I was talking about different things, bringing you guys different things, announcing that I was going to do it. And I told you guys that I was literally just scrolling through my phone one day and saw that someone had done it. And I was like, man, that'd be awesome. And I brought it to you guys. Hey, what do you guys think about me going for the world record for the longest axe throw? I think it'd be fun. I do a lot of long distance axe throwing. It's kind of up my wheelhouse. Let's try it out and see how it goes. I made another video after I applied to do the throw, and Guinness sent me the rules back. And I went over all those in a video talking about how strict the rules were. Lengths of the axes you have to use, the weights, the distance, how you have to go and do all this stuff in order to verify your axe throw and make sure it's correct and you're using the correct axe. If you guys don't remember, go back and watch the video. Talked about it in length in that video, just about all the rules that they gave me and Dave to follow. And then I announced when I was going to do the throw, right? I announced it. I said I was going to come out. I think it was October 18th, which was a Saturday. That was the date that I was going to do my throw. And I did it, right? Go back and watch it. I put my 200-foot axe throw, made a video on it. But there's something behind the scenes that you don't know about that we're going to talk about right now. And we're going to get this axe out of the way because it's driving me nuts, holding it in my hand. Okay, so basically, guys, here's what's going on with the world's longest axe throw and what I've been dealing with. There's people that are cheating. I'm just going to come out and tell you they're cheating. And I have proof. But I wasn't going and looking for this. I really wasn't. Up into the week, well, I should say the week prior to me doing my world record attempt, I told you guys that I was going for it the next week. I had everything already surveyed. Everything was ready to go. Everything out. Place was picked. Everything was good. Had my axes that I was going to use. Everything was measured off. It was good to go. So I happened to be looking through Facebook and just kind of just going through videos and reels and stuff the weekend prior, after I had everything set up and ready to go. And I saw that the World Axe Throwing League had put out a video and it said, "World's longest axe throw still needs to be verified." And I said, "Oh man, you got to be kidding me. Someone broke the previous guy's record? Dang it." And I was like, wait a minute, let me just check the video out. Maybe it says still not verified. So I opened up the video and I watched it. And I had some issues when I watched it. And I'll put the video up here now for you to see. And you guys tell me what you think. Now I see there's no one in the frame. Then all of a sudden you see someone run into the frame, throw their axe, okay? And then you hear a big bang. And then it cuts to a camera that's right on top of the target, and you see the axe or hatchet come in and hit the target. Now, the first thing that I noticed when I saw that, the first thing that I immediately noticed was the fact that the axe did not hit within the 5 rings. Now, let me say this before I continue. I'm not knocking this guy named Jesse. I'm not knocking him, okay? It's a great throw. Even if he did something that he wasn't supposed to do, it's still a great throw. If he honestly threw it at 220 feet, I'm not taking that away from him. He stuck his axe into a target at 220 feet, a thing that a lot of people can't do. So I will give him props on that. However, the first thing that I noticed when I watched that video, which was the hatchet, didn't land within the 5 rings. As you know, the Guinness Book of World Records has a very strict rule set. And in those rules, it states that you must use a World Axe Throwing League sanctioned target within measurements of that target, I should say. And it must land within the 5 rings. That hatchet does not land within the 5 rings. So much so that I kept up with the post and I saw that a lot of people were going in the comment section saying the same thing. It's a great throw, but it would have been cooler if you'd landed it in the rings. It doesn't count. It's not within the 5 rings. So I know that I wasn't the only one that saw that when I initially watched it. I went back and watched it. I slowed it down and watched where it hit. And it hit right outside of the 5th ring on the outside. It hit right underneath it. So by the Guinness Book of World Records rule set, that throw should not count. But I immediately thought, well, why is the World Axe Throwing League touting this thing as a record-breaking throw when they're the ones who designed that target and the specifications for it and what counts as a hit and what doesn't? How did they not see this? That's strange. What do you guys think? I'll play it back again. I don't see it hitting within the 5 rings. But that's not really what this video is about. It's not so much about that throw. Like I said, I'm not taking anything away from him. It's a great throw if he actually did it at 220 feet. But that video and that axe throw is really what started this whole thing for me and what caused me to make this video and find out what I did. Now, when I initially saw the very first video of the gentleman breaking it at 183 feet, and when I decided to throw my hat into the ring to break the record, I noticed one thing in that Facebook post when I saw it, which was there is a huge YouTuber, guy who creates content, who's got axe throwing world titles and knife throwing world titles, was in that comment section going to town on them and the Guinness Book of World Records. And I remember thinking about that, and I remember seeing that, and it stuck in my mind. So when I saw this video, I went straight to that and was like, man, I remember him kind of like berating them. And I agreed with some of the stuff he was saying. And he was the one one of the ones that I spoke to. And I'm not going to tell you who he is and what his name is, but he had some very, very interesting things to tell me about the Guinness Book of World Records and how they're a fraud. It's kind of a scam. I don't have proof on that. But just go research Guinness Book of World Records and see what they've been doing lately to try to get their name back out, because I think they're a dying company and they're trying to do things and they're getting a little bit outside of what I would like to call ethical to continue promoting the Guinness Book of World Records. So I did speak to this gentleman and we talked about it for a while, for weeks on end, here and there, sending messages back and forth. And that was one thing I remember when I was speaking to him and we talked about it. And he told me why he was in that Facebook comment section writing what he wrote. And it makes sense now. So after I watched that video that weekend and saw the axe hit the target and was like, man, that just doesn't look right, the wheels started turning in my head. I started sending it to family and friends, started talking to people. Hey, watch this video. Tell me what you think. And everybody else came back and told me that they saw the same thing I did. So I didn't think, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy. And everybody was like, yeah, Wes, we see the same thing. It didn't hit within the 5 rings. Shouldn't count. Then the light bulb went off. Wait a second. I know what I can do. It's a long shot, but I'll give it a try. How about I contact the guy who broke the record at 183 feet, the guy that I was going after his record? Let me contact him and see what he says. Maybe he's seen the video, maybe he hasn't. And if he hasn't, I'll send it to him and I'll get his take on it. And I'll find out what he thinks about this throw and if he thinks it counts or doesn't count. And this is where things just kind of just go to shit. I'm just being honest with you. I contacted the guy on Facebook. Was throwing a dart in the dark, aiming wherever, and just threw it. And I was like, he's probably never going to contact me. He's never going to respond to me. Guys, within like 15 minutes, the guy responded to me, this really long message. The guy's very friendly. I will give him that. He's incredibly friendly, and he was very willing to talk to me. That's great. However, the problem that I have is with the rest of the conversation. Now, the conversation started with me sending him a message, introducing myself, telling him who I am, very transparent, and said, hey, man, I was going after the world record. I was going to try to beat your record. But I saw that this gentleman broke it at 220 feet. Tell me, have you seen the video? Does it look like it hits within the 5 rings from what you see? And he fires right back. Hey, Wes, thanks for sending me a message. I'm actually really good friends with him. And I'm really good friends with another guy who broke a record previously. And we have this like thing going on where we're all competing against each other to break this world record. So he goes and then I go. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, yeah, I saw the video. It's really dark. We don't really know. We don't see the axe and actually where it hits, but he's in a field.
Actually, he said the words not clear in shadows. But honestly, I think he saw Loki.
As you guys know, with my background, something just started not smelling right. And I said, I think I'm going to have to approach this conversation a different way. And that's exactly what I did. And I said to him, okay, fine, fair enough. I'm not going to press him anymore on that. Let me just pick his brain. He held a world record previously. Maybe he knows something I don't know. So I started asking him the rules and regulations. Hey, man, tell me, am I looking at something wrong here? Do you have information you can give me? I'd be more than happy to give you information, but, let me pick your brain. Tell me what you think about this. Is there anything that I can do going into this? And we started talking about the World Axethrowing League competition throwing hawks, the ones that I used when I threw them at 200 feet. As you can see here, these are the World Axethrowing League competition hawks. I made no modifications to them. The 2 holes are what come in them. The 3 at the bottom are for the screws. I took everything off to show you guys I did not cheat. I did not do anything to these World Axethrowing League competition hawks. I did nothing, right? Okay. Here they are. Now, when I got to talking to him, I told him this is exactly what I was using because this is what he used to break the record at 183 feet. And I thought, well, they must fly really well. As you guys know, I got them and did a review on them. And I said these were going to be used in my attempt. So I started talking to him about these. And unbeknownst to me, when I started talking to him about these, that it was going to go in this crazy, weird, odd, cheating direction. And I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm going to uphold what I said I was going to do to the people that I talked to. And I said I was going to call people out. Unfortunately, as we continue to talk, and I'll put screenshots up of our conversation here, I ask him when he starts telling me certain things, it didn't line up with the rules that the Guinness Book of World Records set out. And as you can see here, I responded to him and I said, wait a second. Are you and Jesse underneath different rules than I am? Because you're telling me stuff that doesn't make sense. That's not what the rules say you can do. And as you can see here, guys, he responds and acknowledges the fact that he knows that you cannot use custom axes and you cannot use modified axes or hatchets. But here, and then he explains to me how they cheat. Now, I will say this before we start getting into calling people out and calling people cheaters. I will say this. Jesse, the guy who holds the current record right now at 220 feet, I don't know if he's cheating or not. But Osman told me at the beginning of the message that they were really good friends and they talk all the time about this. And as you can see here in the message, he says that he knows for a fact that Jesse did the same thing to his axes to be able to make that throw. So based on what Osman's telling me, they're all cheating. They're using custom axes or they're modifying the hell out of an existing axe in order to throw it that distance. Like you guys should know by now, when I went over the rules, it says in the Guinness Book of World Records that you cannot modify the axe. It must be used as it comes to you in a standard configuration, meaning you cannot make any modifications to it. You can use grip tape to improve your grip on it because it is not a modification being done that you can't undo, if that makes sense. You can take the grip tape off when you're done, so you're not actually modifying the hatchet or the axe. You can use grip tape. But as you see here, he tells you in this message, or tells me in this message, how they cheat. What they do is that they take these World Axe Throwing Competition throwing hawks or any all-steel axe, which is why they're using all-steel axes, and they're drilling holes all in the handle to lighten up these hatchets. Okay? And after they cut all these holes in them, they put the grip panels back on, and then they wrap it with grip tape really high to hide even more holes that they've put in these hatchets. Now, if you're wondering, Wes, okay, great. They're putting holes in their hatchets. They're still throwing the hatchet at that distance. Yeah, great. And I'll give them props. They're able to throw it. But that's not part of the rules. And in my experience, when people cheat, it's because they can't do it legitimately. Right? When it comes to throwing axes for distance, weight matters. It does. Okay? These hatchets right here are coming in at like almost 1 pound and 3 ounces. And as you can see here on your screen, I'm going to show you guys how light they're getting these. That's crazy, guys. Look how light they're getting these hatchets down to. Yeah. I'd say you could throw them at 220 feet if you're throwing a hatchet that's that light. Imagine trying to throw this at 1 pound and 3 ounces at 200 feet. And I will tell you guys, I'll show you another screenshot, which is kind of funny, how he tells me that it's almost kind of impossible to throw this hatchet at 1 pound and 3 ounces at 200 feet. I did it. Legitimately. Then he proceeds to tell me how much you can cheat by telling me that the Guinness Book of World Records isn't really going to check all that, and they're not really worried about it. Even though that they're checking this stuff and you're having to make videos on measuring these things and showing that they're not modified, he tells me that there's ways to get around it by using the tape and covering up the holes and that, it's not a big deal. Well, it is to me because I'm going by the damn rules that they have set out. He also proceeds to tell me in this same message thread that what you can do is you can take a sheet of steel and cut it out in the shape of a World Axe Throwing League competition hawk or maybe another commercially available axe or hatchet. And the reason why that's so important is because it says in this message, the reason why you would take a sheet of steel and cut it out with a CNC machine is because you can make it thinner. Millimeter-wise, you can get it thinner, which is going to save on weight. And then he says in the message, guys, check this out. To slap a World Axe Throwing League sticker on the hatchet or whatever, and no one will know the difference. So in essence, what you're doing is you're taking a 5 millimeter thick all steel hatchet and you can cut it out in a piece of steel and make it 2-3 millimeters thick instead of 5. The fact of the matter is that these people are cheating and they're going to the Guinness Book of World Records and faking what they're doing. I know some people are going to say, who cares? They threw the axe still. That's great. That's great. They made the throws. I get that. But here's the deal. When you know that people are cheating on the axes or hatchets that they're using and they're taking weight off and cheating that way, their throw, in my opinion, needs to be called into question as well. How do we know that the throws are actually legitimate? I'm not saying they're not, but if you found someone cheating, then everything they're doing is called into question, right? We don't see a lot of the videos that they're putting out breaking these records. We don't see the axe fully traveling in the air. At least I haven't seen any of the videos. And that was one thing he said to me in his message was, well, if the Guinness Book of World Records qualified it as a legitimate throw, then it must be. So I said, okay, let's go to the Guinness Book of World Records. And I went to them. They're not willing to do anything about this, which stinks even more. My question is, and I'll put this up on your screen now, he made sure to tell me that they're both sponsored by the World Axethrowing League. I'm not saying that the World Axethrowing League has any involvement in this, but I would be really interested to know how the World Axethrowing League feels about sponsoring people that are cheating in World Axethrowing League titles. You guys make all these rules in your World Axethrowing League axe throwing events, right? Everyone has to adhere to them. Everyone is expected to throw the axe at the same distance, use the requirements that you're requiring. So how do you guys feel about people you're sponsoring cheating? I'd like to know, and I'm sure all the people out there would like to know as well. Something needs to be done about this. Guinness Book of World Records isn't doing anything. If you want my honest opinion, at this point in time, I think that they need to be barred from competing in any axe throwing going forward, and their titles need to be stripped. Now, I don't have any proof that Jesse's doing it, but his friend said that he knows that he did the same thing to his axe, and that's how he was able to throw it. I don't know what this video is going to do. It could bring me a lot of hate. It could bring me whatever. I don't really care. I don't like making these videos, and that's not what this channel is about. But I will say this, and I've told you guys this before, I am not going to shy away when things are put in my face that don't seem right or illegitimate or shit. If it's crap, I'm going to bring it to you and tell you it's crap. If it doesn't make sense, I'll say that too. If it's great, I always tell you guys it's great. But this right here smells to high heaven. And if I had more time and I had a little bit more reach as a content creator, I feel like I would probably uncover more. I tell you guys everything that I do. I throw axes for you guys, not anybody else. Well, myself and Dave, of course.
Well, technically, I'm stuck here watching you.
But I don't have anything to hide. I really don't. Yeah, I'm not perfect. And of course, yeah, guys, I miss my axe throw, see? I miss. Okay? That's about all anyone's going to have on me is to say he misses. Yeah, everybody does. I don't pretend that I don't. Everybody misses their axe throws at some point in time or another. I really would like for you guys to try to do a little bit of a deep dive into this. If anybody's got any reach, please let me know. If anybody's got any reach with the World Axethrowing League, please let me know that too. I'd be more than happy to supply all the information and all the proof that I have that they're cheating. The reason why I'm worried about it is because this is going to continue. This is not going to stop. And until we stop this, it's going to be put out there. These people are throwing axes 230, 240, 250 feet. And they're not doing it legitimately. If you say, well, they still made the axe throws, cool. Then the Guinness Book of World Records needs to have two classes. A freestyle class or an open class, and then a rule class on the axes that people are using. Hey, you can use any axe you want in this class, but in this class, there's rules for the axes that you use. But when you set out guidelines, when you guys go to your World Axethrowing League throwing axe event, and you have to stand behind that line, you want to know that you're standing behind the same line that your competitor is. You want to know that your bullseye is in the same dimensions as your competitor is. You don't want him or her to have a bigger bullseye, right? That's the whole thing about competing, and that's why I don't compete. This is why I have shied away from doing anything like this, because I know it exists. And unfortunately, sometimes you just don't know that you're dealing with it, because you don't have the reach or you don't know the people that are behind the scenes that are doing stuff like this. I just happened to stumble across it, and I brought it to you guys. So let me know in the comments section what you guys think of this information. I have a bunch more, and I'm going to sit on it for a little bit longer because there is a little bit more damning information that I have that I'm doing a little bit more research on. Hopefully this video doesn't ruin that. And when I get done with that, I'll bring it to you. But this is what I found so far. Let me know. You guys think it's legitimate? Do you think I have something here? Or do you think it's all BS? I think it's all BS. Dave thinks it's all BS.
My visions show me it's far more than BS.
Yeah. I agree with them.
Loki will be visiting them soon.
Thanks for everything everybody does to make this channel what it is. Sorry, guys, I had to make this video, but I'm not going to sit on this information and not say anything. It would be a detriment to my character when I come on here and say that I stand for integrity. Holding that information from you is not right. Thanks for everything everybody does to make this channel what it is. Like always, guys, and remember, it's always for the love of the axe. But until next time, see ya. And somebody has to hold people accountable. We live in this society now to where people just let people do this shit. This is why people do it. We've gotten to a point in our society where people are just like, who cares? I'm not worried about it. It's just axe throwing. It's just this. Yeah, and as long as we keep doing this, it's just going to get more and more crazy. It's going to get more and more out of hand. Take a stand for something, and that's exactly what I'm doing. This is my space. This is what I've made my space, axe throwing. And I take it seriously sometimes, other than with Dave.
Axe throwing, drunk in your underwear.
I take it seriously when it comes to axe throwing, though. And I'm not going to make people just look the other direction when people are cheating. That's not how it should be. We need to hold people accountable. If you don't like that, too fucking bad. Go about your life and just pretend that all these people you watch on social media throw their axe and hit every single time and they never miss. Cool. If that's, you want to, ignorance is bliss. Awesome. I'm just not doing it. That's crazy getting this thing down to 8 or 9 ounces when it comes in at 1 pound and 3 ounces. That's crazy. If you can't do it legitimately, don't try for it at all. Or practice and get better and then attempt it. Or petition the Guinness Book of World Records for an open class. That's all we have to do. I'm not doing anything with them. I'm not. Just not, guys. I'm just not. Until they root out all this stuff, I'm just not interested in dealing with it. I hit that handle. It'll be all right. It'll be all right. It skipped off that handle, and then you see that was pretty cool.